All right, everybody, good afternoon. Welcome in. This is Stick and Hack on Air, and we are part of the 8 Side Network presented by iHeartRadio. He's Keith Stewart from ESPN Radio and Read the Line. I'm Adam Grubb from Stick and Hack, and this is our weekly reaction to the PGA and LPGA events of the weekend. As always, Keith, this was one of those crazy, kind of weird weeks for me. I didn't watch a single solitary hole. I was also my own tournament, but I didn't watch a single solitary hole. So my reactions here are going to be just predicated upon your reactions. Okay, so that's how we're gonna kind of walk into this thing together right now. I do know these facts though. In the PGA, Jon Rahm wins for the first time since last year's U.S. Open at Torrey Pines, one of which I was at and saw him. He wins for the first time at the Mexico Open. Your reaction, Keith? Jon Rahm, a winner, back in the hot seat after a year off.
Well, you know what? Jon Rahm winning against a field where like basically you could have qualified. You know, I'm very meh on that. Maybe even 2 thumbs down. But
There we go.
But at the Masters, you and I were talking about the fact that as we rolled out of there, it was all these new names: Cam Smith, Scotty Scheffler. These were the winners. And what happened to the big names of 2021? Well, guess what? Since that time, Heritage, Spieth, Zurich, you have Xander and Cantlay, right? And then now in Mexico, we have Jon Rahm. So it seems as if it's not just your parents that are watching or listening to Reacts, okay? These guys, we obviously have their attention, and they are now fired up that we said that they couldn't win in 2022, and here they are, and we're rolling right into the PGA Championship, which I have a bonus react for you, by the way.
We're hitting bonus react early.
No. That was
a teaser?
That was a teaser. Yeah, that was like a Fox reality show foreshadowing type thing. It's not going to come to the last minute, but
teasing things here on Reacts. I love it.
Yeah. No, you know, this is a big win for Jon Rahm because he had not broken through in a while, and he was #1 player in the world for like the better part of the year since he won the U.S. Open. I know he's #2 right now, but still, I mean, 7th career win on the PGA Tour, a field that he had to beat. You know, it's very tough when you go in and you are like the favorite. And we're not even talking about a major championship where there's 4 or 5 favorites. I mean, like this was the only guy that should have won this tournament, and he did. And he had to do it by, you know, parring the last hole. I think it's a big deal for him, and I think that might be a little bit of a launching pad going into the PGA, which is a good golf course for him. There's no doubt, Southern Hills. So I'm pretty excited about the Jon Rahm win. I'm not the biggest Jon Rahm fan, but I'm excited about these past couple weeks and the big names getting fired up for, you know, the PGA Championship, which is the one that's nearest and dearest to my heart.
Now, Jon Rahm was tied with 4 other people. He was a 4-way tie going into the 14th and ended up birdieing 14 to break out of that, and then just kind of had to hold on for the last remaining holes there. Is that indicative of his typical play of doing it when it counts, or was this just all things were firing for Jon this weekend to get him into that winner's circle?
Well, I tell you, I mean, there were some guys that made a charge at him. I mean, you look at Tony Finau. He shoots 129 over the weekend. He goes 66, 63 to kind of be in that group at 16 under. So, like, you know, people were coming after him. But Jon Rahm, I mean, he's really, really good, Adam. So, like,
he's #2 in the world.
Yeah. So I think that, like, his ability to shoot 69 on the last day, I would like to see him go a little bit lower, but it's tough. It's hard to win on the PGA Tour, especially with all of those expectations that were kind of thrust upon him this week, that he had to win, that he hadn't won in, you know, almost a year, that what's wrong with Jon Rahm, what's wrong with his putting. I mean, there's all these naysayers and questions and Twitter golf and guys like, you know, Adam Grubb that are always like poking fun at him. And, you know, he got the job done and he silenced his critics, and we'll see what happens. You know, the interview afterwards was very telling. They said, you know, you were the favorite coming into this. He goes, I don't pay attention to all that stuff. Well, yeah, you do. You know, I mean, just look at the way that he finished the tournament. He had to 2-putt from whatever it was, 23 feet, and he putted up to like a couple inches. Now, normally somebody who, you know, wanted to kind of enjoy and embrace the moment of winning would mark and then wait till everybody else putt out and then knock it in, right? But no, he just walked right up and he knocked it in. He wanted to win bad. Yeah. And he wanted to, you know, set the record straight. So good for him.
So we know how important these tournaments are, is about how long we spend talking about them. We are 3 minutes and 28 seconds into this tournament. Time to move on to the LPGA, Keith. Here on Stick and Hack Reacts. The Palos Verdes Championship presented by Bank of America. I'll repeat that because it bears repeating. The Palos Verdes Championship presented by Bank of America. That's the LPGA. And Marina Alex is our winner. This is her second career win. 31 years old, somebody near to you, more specifically in your geography. She's from Wayne, New Jersey, I believe.
Yes.
And you even had, and this is a little foreshadowing as well, you had her as a top pick on Read the Line this week. And if you followed Keith Stewart and you followed Read the Line and you took his pick for the LPGA and you bet $1, Keith, how much did you win?
90.
$90. 90 to 1. Marina Alex is the winner here of the Palos Verdes Championship presented by Bank of America. Keith, your reaction to Marina and to this tournament in California.
Adam, I don't have enough thumbs, man. I'm telling you. I mean, it's that good. Obviously, I mean, we'll get into this in a minute. Let's just talk about what Marina did. She won her first LPGA victory was in Portland in 2018. She's a New Jersey native, so obviously she's near and dear to my heart. She's on a professional tour from my home state. We love that. And a lot of things, people were very excited 4 years ago. She would have been 27 years old. They said, oh, this is great. New Jersey. She's going to get a couple wins on the LPGA tour. Then all of a sudden COVID hits. There's the big break. And then she had a herniated disc in her lower back and she was really injured. And everybody wondered whether or not she'd be able to come back from that. She fought through all that, rehabilitation. And then, here she was, and she was posting swings earlier this season. I'm like, man, she looks a lot like, she almost looks better than she was swinging at in 2018 when she won. And I've been keeping an eye on her. And Marina's game is a lot about ball striking, the consistency of where she hits it. She's very good at kind of plodding her way around a golf course. So when you get to some of these bigger and beefier golf courses where length is a huge factor, it's not necessarily her spot to be. But this 2-week stint that the LPGA did in LA, they had 2 classic golf courses. Now, last week they were at Wilshire, and Wilshire was a little bit longer, and I was like, man, I don't think she's going to pop here. And then she has a top 10, and I started to look at Palos Verdes Golf Club, and I was like, man, this could be a spot for her. And I know she started the week at 100 to 1, and then I grabbed her at 90 to 1 by the time I wrote the newsletter. And I was like, man, she could really hit here. I mean, this is she's playing well. She's posting swings. I talked to some people in her camp that know her very well here back home in New Jersey. And they're like, she feels really good about things. And I'm like, man, this could definitely be a spot for her to run it. We'll hit her for a top 10 and then we're going to pick her to win. You got to have a long shot in the race. So the 4-day lottery pops up 90 to 1. We hit her. I mean, you said, $1 gets you 90, but that's not the sexiest bet in the world. If you just bet $20, you get 1,800. Think about that. $20 on her, right? And, so at the end of the day, it was a very nice Sunday in the Stewart household. There's no doubt about that. But overall, if you're into what we're doing in predicting winners, just a fantastic, fantastic finish. And think about how she did it, right? So she had Jin Young Ko, the number 1 player in the world, shoot 66, who finishes about an hour in front of her, who's tied with her. She's got to play the whole back 9, which is the tougher 9 there. And she's got Lydia Ko. She's got Hannah Green. She's got all these hot golfers that are playing the LPGA Tour very, very well lately, ranked high in the Rolex rankings. And then, here's Marina Alex. And she just plotted her way exactly how I thought she would around that back 9, making birdies where she could. She gets to the 16th hole, the par 5. She hits it in 2 putt. For a birdie. She takes the lead. She's got a par the last 2. The 18th hole, she, drive her right down the middle, picks the tee up quick. I was like, oh man, this is great. I was like, she's feeling it. She gets on the green in 2 putt, done. Let's see where the cards fall. And congratulations to her because she's worked really hard to come back from her injury, which was a long, long road. And you could see it in her interview afterwards, how she was almost in tears. I mean, just an awesome, awesome story. And I'm so happy. And a little foreshadowing, right? So I felt so strongly about how she was going to do that last week on Monday, I talked to her and I said, hey, in 2 weeks' time, the LPGA is playing in New Jersey. I said, the week before, would you come on the pro show and talk to me and help promote the event? And she was like, sure, no problem. I'll do it next week for you. I said, that's great. Awesome, right? Well, now she just won the LPGA Tour event, and she's my guest on the radio this week. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm so happy for her and how much she fought through. And I can't wait to just promote all that she makes great about golf. Just an absolute gem of a person. You can't feel better for her. And like I said, I just don't have enough thumbs.
I've been waiting several minutes for this joke, so I'm going to just kind of say it now. You had mentioned earlier that it's not a sexy bet to go $1 to win 90 on Marina Alex. However, I did do that because of simple math. So you start throwing out $10 bets, $15 bets. That's math I can't even do at 90 to 1. I'm not even going to try, Keith. So that's why I went with the dollar. No matter what you bet, no matter what your feelings are, this is the type of story the LPGA is starting to continue to generate week after week. And I don't want to say that I like the names that we talk about every week. I like those people winning. I like the top five. I like to see that great golf and these women doing the same thing week after week and winning. However, finding a new name, slipping in there with Lydia Ko or Jin Young Ko on your heels, and Lydia Ko just a couple back.
Both of them.
I mean that's some golf there, and that's a memory. That is a shining moment and a career defining moment for somebody. When you're in the top 5, top 10, you're winning constantly. You're supposed to win. It starts to kind of feel a little, okay, she won. Good for her. She shot 66, 65, 67. Awesome. But to have that story with Marina and a hometown girl for you is very exciting. So congratulations to Marina. And Pro Show is this Friday. Find it where you find your podcast as well on the East Coast on ESPN Radio. So you can catch Keith talking to Marina. Maybe you guys talk about me the same way you're talking about her. I don't know. I hope my name comes up. And the glowing recommendation that you're giving her, I hope somehow my name slips into that conversation on Friday for you.
That's one transition I'm going to have to work on all week, but we'll see what we can do.
All right. So we've been talking about betting today, Keith, and the reason that I think it's fascinating, today's golf betting. I mean, NFL and sports betting in general is probably the biggest it's ever been, and the ability for the ease of bets is almost too scary in some cases. You can bet on Chinese ping pong. You can bet on darts. You can bet on a lot of weird stuff that some of my degenerate friends were doing during COVID when there were no sports. But we are here today with the NBA finals and tournament. We have the baseball. We have football. We have a lot of this betting happening. But what is missed right now is the real gem, which is golf betting. There are so many cool things about it. But it has is kind of having this moment. You have Read the Line, which is your predictions and advice on betting coming to us from the mind of a pro, the mind of someone who's been around the game for 30 years and looks at golf and statistics and data much differently than perhaps a golf handicapper. Where do you see? What's your reaction? I guess the question, stick and hack reaction, for love of God. What is your reaction to golf betting today? As we stand here?
Well, I tell you, Adam, it's a really interesting question, and one that the answer in my mind has been developing for years. I've always looked at, I've been a part of golf courses and golf players my whole life. And what's interesting about that is that betting has always been part of the fabric of the game. People don't think of it maybe as like the gambling on a football game, but it's the same thing when you go out and you play a $2 Nassau with your buddies over the weekend, or like you're looking pretty tan, so I'm guessing you hit the links this weekend. I'm sure you bet on something, even if it was just $1 closest to the pin out of the bunker because you and your friend or you and your wife were in the bunker, side by side. So as you watch this develop and as you see sports betting become so more prominent because of technology and the ease of use, it doesn't surprise me, and that's why I invested in Read the Line or built this company, because like golf bettors are avid bettors. And avid golfers love, to be entertained by, placing a little bit of a wager. I mean, I was getting so many texts last night. They were like, this LPGA story is unbelievable that you have me like locked into, because she's competing against this is a 90 to 1 long shot competing against the number 1 golfer in the world. How is that not a great story? How is that not compelling? And if you had $1 on it to win 90, you were like through the roof excited about the whole thing. And every single week is like that in golf. Think about it. 90 to 1 is it's like winning the lottery.
Right.
If you put $10 down, you win 900. That's a lot of money, And
what was that again? Let me write that down. What was that math?
You get that in 4 days. I mean, if you want to bet on the Indianapolis Colts to win the Super Bowl, you might have to wait 40 years. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, like in August, if you bet and they are 90 to 1, you got to wait 7-8 months. Think about it. that paid off. That prediction paid off in 4 days.
What I
And
like about
it's just
golf
amazing.
betting is the sheer number of props and ability to the head-to-head matchups.
Oh
I
yeah.
think are probably one of the coolest things. You can do round one matchups all the way through the entire thing. They've got the 6-shooter, 3 shooters, the little pods of people. Does this person beat this person? And if you think about how you would look at that with your group of golfing friends and or at your club or whatever, imagine that kind of that world there. Like if you're that matchup, that's what golf betting is, and it's constant. I think it brings, just like football, just like fantasy baseball brought more eyes to baseball in the 80s. Fantasy football brought more eyes and interest in games that we didn't care about even a little bit. Golf betting is now doing the same thing for instance, the what the hell was it? The Mexico Open. I'm not watching the Mexico Open. I didn't. I mean, let's be honest, right? It brings interest to these tournaments that you never really have watched in the past. I think it is something that luckily the PGA and USGA and golf in general is the Titanic in movement, a big ship, a Carnival Cruise Line in movement, very slow to adapt and adjust and react. Right? Um,
Oh
am I
man.
wrong? Have I said
I
anything
mean,
wrong yet?
that's just. I mean, I don't know that any successful business wants to be compared to the Titanic. But go ahead, you're rolling.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. That's why I changed it briefly to Carnival Cruise, which is
Well,
just slightly better, just a tad better. Not the point of the story here. The point is that golf has embraced the betting and has started to look at this as a real ability to drive engagement into their sport, into their brand, into their athletes.
yeah.
And I think it's great. And I'm excited. Read the Line is Keith Stewart's. I don't know how to describe it outside of betting analytics and your predictions and assessments of the weekend to come, both LPGA and PGA.
Well,
His Instagram channel, TikTok. You can do a lot of fun stuff. You do a lot of cool stuff. So go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Because
let
you
me
don't want
jump
to
in
know
there,
from me,
Adam.
baby.
What bothered me about the golf betting ecosystem was that it was just like a lot of dudes like just regurgitating spreadsheets, and
Right.
that's not any fun. So I took my expertise as a coach for over 10,000 hours of teaching lessons and playing professional tournaments and catering to members at all the different clubs that I've worked at and everything. And I said, you know what? I said this could be a lot more interesting. So sure, do I use statistical data with which to back up what I'm doing? To a certain degree, I do, but I also use my knowledge in architecture and agronomy and all of those things. And I create really cool narratives week in and week out. It's like a puzzle, and we figure it out, and then we present that. So even if you're not even gonna make a bet, if you just want to go to readtheline.com and subscribe, you're gonna get a cool story with a lot of really anecdotal, fun things like you get here on Reacts from me. And it'll help you appreciate whatever the contest is that week that they're all competing in. And you'll have a lot of fun reading it. So just go to readtheline.com. It can be free. Just read the free version. Check it out. If you love it, then you can subscribe as a premium member. Do what you want to do. Now, Adam, we're running out of time, and I got to
Yeah.
get to my
Yeah.
I got to get to my bonus react, right? I was reading the early tee this morning, and you had made a reaction to Patrick Reed's wife, commenting on Tiger getting, favoritism at
Mhm.
by the director of golf at Southern Hills because he had showed up for his big practice round last week or whatever. But how big a tournament are we setting up here? Jon Rahm just won, Jordan Spieth just won, Cantley and Xander just won, and Phil and Tiger look like they're on a collision course to show up in Tulsa for the PGA Championship. How big is this tournament going to be? How excited are you for the PGA Championship?
I'm very excited for the PGA Championship. I'm so happy. My reaction is 2 thumbs up. I'm so happy they moved it to May. I'm so happy that it's sandwiched in between arguably 2 of the biggest majors. I know that the Open is huge. I get that. But the U.S. Open and the Masters, and you got the PGA right there in the middle, could almost be forgotten. It isn't. I think the PGA Championship is now more necessary than ever. It's going to be as exciting as ever. Tiger, Phil. I mean, that's great. That's a great storyline. But you got newly married DJ. You got new dad Jordan. You got who else? You got Jon Rahm coming off a win here, and then you got my boy Sergio, who always seems to find his way somewhere within the conversation at majors for at least Thursday afternoon, and then he kind of peters out. But now that's a new reaction to you. You didn't even know I like Sergio. I do. I love him, and we'll talk about that next week. Keith Stewart, Adam Grubb. This is Stick and Hack Reacts, Stick and Hack on air, and we are presented by iHeartRadio and powered by the 8 Side Network. Keith, enjoy your day. Thank you so much. We'll see you next Monday, everybody.